question that comes up in the homosexual Christianity debate, and a statement that is made a lot, is Jesus never condemned homosexuality, therefore Jesus saw it as okay. Now, there is some truth to the idea that Jesus never condemned homosexuality. That is a partially true statement, but it's also a partially false statement. One of the biggest problems with taking that line of logic, and that, in other words, Jesus didn't condemn something, therefore it's okay, is Jesus never condemned rape. And I think that no one in our society, no matter how depraved they are, would say that it would be okay for a man to forcefully rape a woman. That is completely unacceptable, even though Jesus never addressed that. There's a lot of things that Jesus never addressed that we as a society would universally consider to be wrong. There are many things Jesus did not address. However, the idea that Jesus never addressed homosexuality is at best misguided and misleading. There are three statements of Jesus that are very important to remember in discussing this. One, in Matthew 5, Jesus said that not one jot or tittle of the law would fail till all was fulfilled, because he did not come to do away with the law. In that statement, Jesus affirms the entire Old Testament law, including the laws concerning homosexuality, to be directly from God. And he is very clear that we are not to think of him as coming to do away with the Old Testament law. In that statement, Jesus endorses everything found in the book of Leviticus, which includes what the Bible says concerning homosexuality. The other two statements are what Jesus says concerning sexual thoughts or ideas. In Matthew 5, Jesus talks about how it is not just a sin for the physical act of adultery, but that if we think about adultery with someone else, we have committed adultery within the heart. What this is showing is that Jesus is saying any sexual thought outside of the bonds of marriage he considers to be sin. Any sexual idea. So this includes pornography. This includes, looking down a woman's shirt. This includes messing around with your boyfriend. This includes messing around with your girlfriend. This is adultery. This is a host of things. He says any sexual thought outside of the bonds of marriage is sin. Which brings us to what Jesus says concerning marriage. Jesus gives a positive statement as opposed to a multitude of negative statements. Jesus is very clear when he's asked about divorce that God's intention for marriage, God's design for marriage, that man is not supposed to mess with, he's very clear on this, is one man and one woman for life. Now the for life there is very important. We'll address that in another video. But the idea here that Jesus makes is a positive affirmation of human sexuality being one man, one woman for life. That is what Jesus says concerning marriage. And Jesus is very clear that any aberration of one man, one woman for life is sin. So this includes thoughts of another woman, that's adultery. This includes sex before you're married, that's fornication. But this also includes, in the immediate context there in Matthew, divorce and remarriage, because that messes with the for life part. This also, though, would then include things like rape, incest, and homosexuality. For Jesus to give a list of everything that was unacceptable before God, he would have to speak about bestiality, he would have to speak about orgies, he would have to speak about incest, he'd have to speak about pedophilia, he'd have to speak about all of those things. And instead of going through each aberration of human sexuality, which there are a lot, instead he made a positive affirmation, and that is that Jesus was exceptionally clear that the only biblical, God-pleasing, God-honoring outlet of human sexuality is a marriage between one man and one woman for life. Anything outside of one man and one woman for life is sin. This includes pornography, this includes adultery, and this goes all the way to homosexuality. So did Jesus speak about homosexuality? Technically, no. But did Jesus address homosexuality? Most certainly he did.